Good morning from Mexico. Today, I would like to introduce my research topic, Unequal Opportunities of Human Capital Investment from Different Socioeconomic Origins in Mexico, 1994, 2006, and 2014. This paper is a preliminary result of my thesis on population studies at El Colegio de Mexico. I'm going to divide my presentation in 4 sections. First, some data about Mexican economy. Secondly, Human Development Index as a complex indicator of inequality. Then, NTI profiles disaggregated by HDI. And finally, I'm going to point out some further research questions. What is the motivation of this paper? The inequality in Mexico affects the opportunities and the economic growth. The SDG claim that the governments must reduce the inequality and increase the access to education. It's not possible to understand the NTA profiles in Mexico without socioeconomic inequality. Some data about Mexico. The poverty is a very important issue in Mexico. Around 33% of population in Mexico lives in poverty. That means they live with less than $5.5. Also, if we just think about the gross national incomes, apparently it has been rising. However, the gross domestic product comes in 25% from informal economy. And finally, 70% of transfers comes from household. That means the family transfers at household level are the main source of economic support in Mexico. I'm just going to present the general profiles of private consumption, labor income, and the life cycle deficit for 1994, 2006, and 2014. In the general NTA approach, we can just analyze the data at national level by age. However, if we use the Human Development Index as a complex inequality indicator, and we can estimate that at household and individual level following this methodology, we can have a compound index, the Human Development Index, that is the geometric product of the Material Welfare Index, the Education Index, and the Health Index. That allows to have 3 dimensions of socioeconomic inequality. The Material Welfare Index was estimated by principal component analysis with polychoric correlation matrix. The Education Index was estimated by Hurdle negative binomial regression model, and the Health Index was estimated by regression model to predict life expectancy at the individual level. With this index was possible to link the NTA profiles with a comparable socioeconomic inequality perspective. Now, it is time to look at some NTA profiles disaggregated by HDI, in the case of Mexico, for 1994, 2006, and 2014. I'm just going to present some preliminary results because it is a lot of information that we can analyze after disaggregate the NTA profiles by these three index and the composed index. By labor income, by subgroups of HDI, it is important to notice that there are huge differences in terms of labor income between people who belong to the low HDI level if we compare to people who belong to high HDI level. And these gaps between low and high increases over time in terms of labor. Also, if we analyze the self-employment labor income, it is very relevant to notice that people with the low HDI must have less opportunities than people in the high level. And finally, in terms of consumption of durable goods and health consumption, people with low HDI observe less probability to spend their income in other consumptions because their health consumption is really high. And this is important in all ages. While people with higher HDI have the higher health consumption in younger ages, people with low HDI have a very high expenditure in health in all ages. And the people who invest in health in young ages is mainly people with high HDI. Just those few graphs shows that the Human Development Index help us to analyze deeply the NTA profiles considering inequality. So, it is possible to use the HDI as a complex inequality index for the whole MSHIE. That means we can estimate the NTA profiles from 1990 to 2018 for Mexico. That is possible because we have a survey for one single survey for income and expenditure And following this methodology of estimation of Human Development Index is possible to analyze with a single inequality indicator how the NTA profiles change over time. Estimate NTA profiles considering HDI allows to point out the implications of inequality. And finally, after estimate these NTA profiles, the next step is achieve a cohort analysis for Mexico. And this is a very relevant topic because in that way we can analyze in the long run the behavior on the NTA profiles considering inequality. Thank you so much for your attention.